Hey, welcome back to another podcast with me, Warren Werbitt, on Printing's Alive. Today we have a guest. We have Amanda Bronowski. Did I get that right, by the way, the spelling?
The spelling right, the pronunciation, no.
Well, I didn't spell it. I meant the pronunciation. So pronounce it. I get that. I get everyone's name wrong, by the way.
It's Bronowski.
Oh, Bronowski. Okay, you say it way better than I do, by the way.
I've had some practice.
Cool. So just give us a little roundabout about you, who you are, what you do.
All right, so like Warren said, my name's Amanda Bronowski. I have been in the print industry for almost 22 years now. The beginning of my career was all operational. I ran an implant here in Pennsylvania. And then once COVID hit, I kind of started to do a transformation into what I wanted to do in print. I did a lot of LinkedIn videos. You guys might recognize me from there. And then I started to do marketing. And now I help companies with their marketing of their own printing company, how to use video, how to use different aspects of media for their own marketing so we can promote print.
Cool. So that leads us up to the topic today. And the topic today is printers and marketing. But really the topic today is printers who don't market. But before we get into it, I just want to call out 3 printers who I regularly see out there promoting what they do, promoting print, their people, the technology and the equipment they use. And one of them is Hatteras Printing, Bill Hatteras. Kudos to you. You are awesome. Paul Hudson Printing. Another awesome kudos to you. And Alex Feshner from Advertisers Printers, who was on my last podcast. You are awesome with the videos you put out. To all the people listening, go look them up, follow them on LinkedIn, and see what they do. You can learn from it. So congrats to all the other printers who do well. Now we're going into this session where we're not talking about the printers who do well. We're talking about the printers who do nothing. We're talking about the printers who haven't figured out that after producing all the marketing material for all these other companies and helping them grow and expand, do nothing for themselves, do nothing for their industry, do nothing for the people that work for them. I don't even want, there's so many things I want to say. My head is just going to explode. Amanda, just why do you think all these printers don't do anything?
So in my experience, what I've seen, 2 very different aspects. There's ignorance and there's arrogance. So a lot of the older print companies I see, they are so reliant on their sales team for doing everything, for doing their marketing and selling, that they don't think they need the extra department or the extra, input of, someone in marketing. And then a lot of them just don't realize what kind of marketing is out there. They have been so kind of honed in on just the printing aspect and doing what they're doing and running a printing company. They're not realizing that they need to be able to promote themselves as much as they're promoting the clients that come in. Like, they're doing the printing material, marketing material for these clients, but not realizing that they need to do it for themselves and the different avenues they have, with email marketing or social media marketing, video marketing, even direct mail services. It doesn't click for them that, hey, we need to do this for ourselves as much as we do this for our clients.
I'm trying to figure out the why, right? I'm really, when, I did a lot of marketing, and in the beginning, to be really honest, I didn't know what marketing was. When I had my company, and way back when in the early days, I just wanted to put something out there. I knew that if my name wasn't out there, nobody would know us, right? So I'm just surprised that today more companies aren't doing it. And if I'm speechless, it's because my head is on fire and there's so many things going through it. And what I don't want to do on this episode is I don't want to talk about any names of any companies, right? Because I'm not out to do any of that. If you're listening, you will know who you are, right? And hopefully you'll have some change. I'm just thinking recently if a printing company went out and spent $3-4 million on equipment that I'm talking to, and they don't do any marketing. And I have a conversation with them about what I suggest to them that they should do. And the first thing I suggest to everybody, and that is that you need to have a playbook. You need to understand who you are, what you're doing, who your verticals are that you want to sell. And then from that, you also figure out your messaging, and that will be your Bible for the year. And whatever that cost, it costs. And it does cost. You could be in for 15, you could be in for 20 grand. You know, you have the people doing it for you, speak to customers, and really get the best of what you can. But you're supposed to do that before you spend your money on your equipment. The people I just spoke to had the equipment, and then when I discussed the playbook with them, said to me, well, sounds expensive. Sounds expensive. You got $4 million on the floor and you got payments coming around every 30 days. And if you're not selling, those payments get really heavy. Why? Why don't they want to do it? Do you know why people don't want to market themselves?
Like I said, from what I've seen, it's a lot of them are in denial that they need it. They are so reliant on their sales team to make the sales, to fill the presses, that they think that they don't need to have a marketing aspect separate from a sales team. And one of the things that I saw for a company, they purchased a piece of equipment, like you said, but what they did is they did a marketing campaign through video, through email, and through direct mail, where they did every single step of when they got the press. So when it came in on the truck, when they offloaded it into the building, when they had it set up, when they did training, and they got such a good response from that, because for one, people were aware that they got new equipment. And for two, they're showing what's going on and how they're elevating their own company to such a broad audience, rather than just relying on their sales reps to tell current customers or even prospects, hey, we got a new piece of equipment. These videos and these emails and these direct mail pieces did it all for them. And they got such a good response from any other time when they brought in new equipment that they didn't do something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna jump in. Stop me anytime if you want to add something, because I'm about to go maybe on a little bit of a rant. But why do you want to market your company? I'm going to give you the reasons why you want to market your company. There's a couple reasons. Number one, you want to market your company because you want to put yourself out there. You want customers and potential customers to know what you do and what you have to offer. Offer meaning, what solutions do you have to help them build and grow their businesses? This is not about you, Mr. or Mrs. Printer, right? When I go to a lot of your websites and you have equipment on your website, who cares? In the old days, maybe it mattered. Today, nobody gives a rat's ass about your equipment. They want to go on there and see what you could do for them. And, and then in terms of people working for you, right? What does everybody do when they have a prospective client, right? They go to LinkedIn, they check them out. They go to the website, they check them out, and then they start to build a little bit of a thought process on what they're going to do, how they're going to do maybe, and what they could do. So to the printer, don't you think that the potential customer is looking at your LinkedIn, at your website, and making the same decisions? If all you have on your site is, again, equipment and no offering, guess what? They are gone. Everybody's simple. Remember to do for others as you want others to do for you. And that's how do you want people to reach out to you? Reach out to them the same way. I thought I would have a lot more to say, but it's all pent up inside me because I'm so crazy.
Well, and I remember from one of the shows back, I believe it was like 2021 or 2022. I think it was Printing United. They did a whole series on printers presenting educational material for prospective clients. And it's kind of where I got my idea from back in the day when I was doing the videos about direct mail, is literally showing them physically how I, as a sales rep can help you with what we have. Because a lot of the people don't know. The clientele that I got had no clue about any of the things that we offered until they literally saw an educational piece saying, hey, we can make your postcard. We can put code on it to make it personalized and you can send it off to your client. And that's one piece I've seen with people that they don't want to take that time to do that, to educate people out there how they can help them, because that's going to be your biggest draw. If someone says, oh, I need that, and they see it on, then they're going to contact you. If they're just seeing a sales pitch, they're going to click past it and not even watch the full video.
Yeah, no, I think it all starts at the print company with the print owner. If the print owner is involved and interested and passionate about what they do and wanting to have a successful business with successful people, then they have to lead the charge and make it happen. When the owner's not interested, not involved, I won't say not interested, not involved, then everyone below really can't do maybe what they want to do, because you still need the approval of above, and the above is not so quick to approve if they don't understand or relate to it,
Yeah.
right?
Or even the fact, what I've seen is if the owner isn't taking it seriously. Like if they have the attitude that marketing really isn't needed, marketing can be done by the secretary, the receptionist, and her 30-minute lunch break, during the day, then that's going to trickle down to their sales reps and to everybody that works for them, saying, okay, well, we're not going to bring any ideas because our, someone that we're supposed to look up to doesn't think it's important, doesn't think it's necessary, so why should we?
Printing today is a lot harder to sell than it was back then, right? Back then, it was a lot easier. You could charge what you want, you get what you want. There was a lot more money made. It's gotten a little bit tougher. The good thing is, right, and we must all remember this. You see this? The world can't live without print. There's no business that could operate without any form of print. So everything that we as the print industry are doing, they need us. And that could be the print, that could be promotional, it could be anything, signage, you name it, but they need us. So don't forget that. And I want to point out, we are a service-based industry. We are not a commodity. So if you think like that first, then you're going to want to get paid for what you do, right? In order to do that, then you get some more money to spend on marketing. But marketing, so getting back to the, the customers knowing you, your own employees, your own team, when you market and you do that and they see what you're doing, you're building a culture, right? What happens when you build a really good culture? You end up with more passionate people giving you more ideas. We at my company, what I did once was I'd seen a fishing magazine, and the editor had signed off editor and angler. And I thought, wow, that was really cool. And then I went out, I made business cards for me, and it said founder and fisherman. And then I went and I made business cards for 120 people in the company. So even the pressman, the shipper, the receiver, everybody had a business card. They didn't have an email address, and they weren't allowed to put their cell phones on because it wasn't a calling card. But you don't think it didn't make everyone in the company proud to have a business card, an identification of where they work? And what did it cost me? $3, right? Now, they're marketing your company when they go out there and they talk to friends and people and they hand out the card, right? Your salespeople, they hand out the card. It has a title and a hobby, a passion. It's an icebreaker. It's an immediate conversation piece. But then the people also remember for how easy it was to talk to you and to break in, right? How many printers do you know that don't do any mailing
A
or
lot.
samples?
A lot, unless they're, again, unless it's sales driven, the sales rep is sending out, various ones to their list, but you never see the full company having having a direct mail push, to go find new clients, unless it is led by that individual sales rep.
Right? You want to keep your salespeople, you have to market. Listen, the truth today is, it's not like the old days where salespeople do a lot of cold calling or prospecting, right? They're still doing it, but the phone's not getting picked up as often because it's a little harder. People are all over the place. You have to be consistent with your messaging. You can't do one mailing and then go, oh, I didn't get anything, right? Like, let's talk about, what I tell a lot of printers is this. I go, what do you do for mailing? What do you do to let people know you're there? Well, not much. Or we did a postcard. I said, was your postcard personalized? Or, oh no, we went bulk. It was cheaper. I said to them, do you read the bulk mail when you get it at home? No. I go, so what are you doing? I said, at home, I open up every personalized piece of mail that comes in. I even know that it's nothing real, but I want to see what it says. I said, your customers are the same. And then, then they get into the salespeople. So, and let me know what you think after. But so this is what I suggest to all the printers. Go out, build a list, buy a list, hire a student to make 1,000 phone calls within 2 miles of your business. Okay, finding a directory online. Make sure the list is good. So you spend $1,000 for them to do that. Then you go out and you start doing some direct mail. You plan on a 12-month campaign, right? 1,000 businesses, every month for 12 months. Let me run through the cost with you. Okay. The printing is actually nothing because it's a few clicks. You're going to use paper probably from another job. You could even ask a paper company to give you 1,000 sheets for your marketing, put their name on the back.
Yeah.
Or not if you're listen, I wouldn't even ask them, because for the $100 of paper, I would just pay it and not be held to anybody for owing anybody anything. Right. So then you could go to one of your design customers and barter with them and ask them to do some design for you over 12 months and give them some print in exchange. So far, you haven't spent a penny of cash out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go out and you do the mailing every month. So I don't know, personalized mail, first class, what is it, 80 cents, a buck, whatever, doesn't matter. $1,000 a month to mail, right? Printing is almost free, a little barter on the design. So let's just say if you added it all up with a cash value at the end of the year, you spend 20 grand, 12 months messaging, right? Your sales team will not reach that many people monthly consistency for that long.
No.
If you don't do anything, you will get an automatic 2, 3, 4% return on the people that you're calling. Some will be bigger, some will be smaller. And by the way, if you do that and you have salespeople, you're now creating leads for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the better part of that is when you create the leads for them and give it to them, and then they start calling and winning and succeeding, you, the owner, could hold your shit together and don't have to get crazy after 2 months because you haven't seen any revenue when you spend $6 grand a month to have a sales guy that you're hoping is going to hit a home run in 2 months, which we all know takes 12 to 18 months with a salesperson when they're starting.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even to add to that, I've seen, to add a little extra, again, that's not going to cost you anything. If they're doing this as a mailing for the entire company, personalize it per territory, have a QR code that goes to like the LinkedIn profile of the sales rep of that territory, or to one that I've actually done myself is I put a QR code that went to a video of me introducing myself and being like, hey, you saw me in your mailbox and now you see me on your TV. And again, that didn't cost me anything extra to put that on there and to get that extra level of personalization and communication with, whoever these 1,000, 1,500 people that we sent these postcards out to. So it's so easy. I mean, like you said, you get frustrated because you're like, everything, it's so simple. Why don't we just do it? Why aren't they just rather than, relying on, like you said, on these sales reps to hit a home run with the limited communication they have if they're not doing any sort of their own marketing. It's simple things that need to be done.
And then what else comes from that? A couple things come from that. Number one, you are now letting everybody out there know what all your offerings are. And over 12 months, you're going to have single offerings for certain items you do. You could match them up with others. You do print, you do mailing, you do posters, you do delivery, you do sign, whatever it is, right? Everybody's going to know what you do, and it's going to be consistent. But now again, salespeople are going to be great because you're keeping them busy. Mm-hmm. And then everybody's taking pride, and then you're building your brand. And you'd be surprised because you're not only building for today, right? Everything you do. I mean, oh my God, I've had stuff I've done for people, and 18 months later, I get a phone call saying, yeah, we got your piece last year. You don't know who keeps what, when they keep it, how they keep it, what they keep it for. It's just as long as it's out there. And then the more times they see it, maybe your rep is going to call on someone where another rep was before that they didn't know, but now all of a sudden the name hits a bell because they got something in the mail.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's important to do all different forms of marketing, not just one, right? I'm going to tell you how stupid some companies can be in our industry. I remember once I was dealing with an envelope manufacturer, and they called me up and they said, oh, you have an unpaid bill. And I said, oh, I didn't see the invoice. No problem. I said, could you mail me another invoice? And the lady on the phone said, well, I'll just email you the invoice. I said, if you email me an invoice, I'm dropping you as a supplier and I'm calling your boss to get you fired. You're an envelope company. You don't email invoices. You mail them. Or you're training your customers that they don't need envelopes. Simple stuff people aren't thinking.
No, and it gets overlooked. That's the problem. It's like some of it is so simple that it's just over people's heads, and like you said, that would be ridiculous to not get an envelope from an envelope company. Like, if this is do twofold, you're going to invoice someone to get money, and you can, you know, market your product at the same time.
And keep your people busy because you're making more envelopes. I used to steal the envelopes at the bank machines when they came out. I figured some envelope company is going to get a repeat, or order every annual report at CDAR just so I could see the graphics. But I always thought, hey, if I get that book, maybe that's going to be the one that they were waiting for to decide if they're going to order more or not.
There you go.
Right? It's so simple. But if you're not if you're a business owner, you're not marketing yourself, you're basically on your way out.
Yeah, and like you said, the one thing that I see that is a huge issue for most people is they do one campaign, they don't get whatever results they were thinking of getting, and then they stop. And they don't realize that marketing is not the same as creating a sales funnel. You are going to get leads eventually, but it's something that you have to build with consistency over time. You know, you have to be able to show that this is not, like you said, just a one-time campaign. Oh, it didn't get out to the right market. Oh, I didn't get any return on it. So we're done. We're not going to try this again. You need to build that trust. You need to build that brand for yourself. So then once you start getting more and more consistent, like, you're going to skyrocket with how many people are going to see this and who's going to be sharing it and who's going to recognize your name. But that's a huge roadblock where I see with printers is they try it once, it doesn't work, and then they're done.
And they don't even do it well. Like, they don't try hard. So I don't want to spend anybody's money. I mean, I do want to spend your money, but the truth is, the money you're going to spend on marketing is worth it. I know people who won't spend a couple $1,000s on do something creative on marketing, but they'll go have a $400 bottle of wine, or they'll go play a $300 round of golf. And I don't understand it, because if you spend the money on the marketing and you do well, you're not going to be playing $300 rounds of golf. You'll be playing a Pebble Beach or something better.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Or that
So
$1,000 dinner that they're taking 2 clients out to, that, that's pretty much where all that money is going with those 2 clients, just hoping that they're going to order more or refer them.
Yeah, no, it's really, oh my God. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. So another thing that I did was, first of all, when companies buy new equipment, most of them don't even do what they should be doing, and that's making some samples with the equipment and spreading them out and showing it around. I used to, with salespeople, do all kinds of samples and marketing samples, and it was a great way to have the folks go out and ask to see customers. And the instruction was, don't ask them if they have anything to quote. You're not there for that. You're there to say, hey, wanted to see you. Don't bring them donuts. People don't like donuts anymore. But I just wanted to come in and say hello, and I just wanted to show you the latest and greatest piece that we've done, and I just want to leave it with you. The customers that you have that you're doing that with, if they have something that they need quoted, you're going to be top of mind, and they're going to remember you for being proactive. Right? Another key word, proactive. The days of calling them all the time and say, what do you have to quote? Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. And when you do that, you become just another number. Right? You want to find a way to get in with them. Oh, the best thing about doing your own direct mail campaign for a year, 6 months to a year, you track it. You then have everything you need, all the data to write a case study. When you go out, you get to talk about your own case study. You get to talk about the money that you spent to make this project happen. You get to talk about the results. You get to talk about the return. Most direct mail done well, you will have a return, right? And the return is not just the dollar value of what came in from that campaign. Let's talk about the lifetime value of some of those clients that you're going to pick up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? When you think about long-term value, you could pick up one customer that does 150 grand a year, have them for 10 years, and that there's $1 million that comes out of your 20 grand that you spent.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's also people that you wouldn't have thought of prospecting to in the first place. When you do a direct mail campaign, you can really spread your outreach. And who knows, it's maybe that is the only way that this client would have ever known who you were. And like you said, they turn out to be this huge client. Your ROI is made back, tenfold.
Doesn't take long.
No.
Another thing, I used to do a lot of it. I see some companies doing it, but pro bono work, right? For charities, for things that are important. Perhaps you have some employees who have some issues, and you could support their causes. And by doing that, you then, again, internally, the people are excited and happy you do that. And then on the outside, I remember one year, I never bought Christmas gifts as a company. I never believed that buying anyone a $25, $50, $40, $100 gift is going to change their world. But taking all that money and doing something with it for a charity. One year, actually, we went to the Children's Hospital and we funded a part of the pump. So I say that because you're diabetic and you have the pump. But
Yep.
when we did that, we called the hospital. We asked if we could have a picture of a child with permission from the parents to put on our Christmas card and everything. And unbeknown to us, it turned out to be one of our customers' friend's child.
Wow.
Right? And just, if nothing else, that just strengthened our relationship because of our consciousness of wanting to think and help out others. Other times we funded a music dog to go to the hospital to see kids and patients. And that's just gives us the human side, because it isn't just all about business.
Oh yeah, there's a
But
company that I worked with though they sponsored a walk. It was I can't remember what the charity was for, but every single year they did the walk. They provided the t-shirts for everybody who did the walk, and they even sent out like a little postcard. And from that, they had other charity organizations contact them to actually hire them to do the same thing for them for their charity. These were larger charities that had the money to spend. The one they did was a local charity that the owner was very close to and some of the employees were. And the amount of work they got from that, just from, doing something they were going to do anyway, was astronomical.
and then I'll say to the owner who's doing that, if you haven't done it before and you're going to do it, it makes you feel really good. Like, putting everything else aside, it
Oh yeah.
makes you feel good that you did good. It makes you feel good that you potentially made a change in somebody's life. So you could market yourself by helping other people and not even doing anything little for yourself, right?
Exactly.
You can go to the local news station if you're doing something. And it's all about starting and then keeping it going and consistency. When I used to go out and I used to give people things and talk or make phone calls, and somebody would say to me, "Oh, we're really happy with who we are." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, "You know how happy that makes me how that makes me feel to hear you say that?" I said, "I'm just planting the seeds. I'm like Johnny Appleseed right now. So if one day you're in a situation and people that you like that you're dealing with for whatever reason can't supply you with something, I'm happy to help out. And I'm not even going to try to get all your work because I'm thrilled that you're with them. I'm
Mhm.
just trying to find a little crack to get in the door.
Oh yeah.
After that, I'm going to try to slam them and take away the other guy's work." Right? But you got to find the ways to move about, the non-aggressive. The world is so much pressure today that we can't pounce on people.
No.
It's what's something that maybe one of your customers have done in the past that have worked really well?
So I had a customer that didn't have a very large budget. They didn't want to do a direct mail piece. They wanted to try to keep it as low cost as possible. So we basically did a LinkedIn campaign for them, as well as some email marketing through their current CRM. And we combined the two, and just from posting twice a week, including video, including employee spotlights, including we would do a 4-step. One would be educational, informational, and then 2 would be about services. And by doing that, after a year, they increased their LinkedIn following by 750%. And they had their name was being known in different trade shows they go to. So they were being recognized. And that was, they can't pinpoint an exact sale that they got from that. But the fact that they were being known, and when they would go to any of these trade shows, they were being recognized, was more than enough affirmation for them to say, okay, this is something good. This is something we're doing. And eventually sales came, after the fact. And it was really neat to see, because pretty much the investment was $0 other than, hiring someone to do it for them. But it was very low cost. It was very simple. It wasn't glitz and glam. It wasn't anything crazy. And they saw a huge return on it.
You don't have to do that much. You don't have to spend that much money. You just have to start doing something and then just be consistent with it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You could have your quarterly mailing. You could have a small newsletter.
Mhm.
I still think, printers have to print. Printers have to mail. Printers have to do some social media. We have to show people that we're well-rounded and that we understand, because the truth is everybody has to do everything today. Everyone who says print's dead, well, maybe stationery's dead, but Vistaprint's still printing billions of business cards. That's another thing. I'm going to touch on the business card. Make your business card wow.
Mhm.
Use embellishments, use the spot UVs, use foils, use whatever. And even if you think that someone's going to throw it out, who cares? It's
Yeah.
about that initial reaction when I'm looking for my card. But when I give my card out, everybody oohs and ahs and touches it and opens it and looks at it. And that's all I needed. My job is done. They saw it, they liked it, they commented, they will remember.
Oh, yeah.
What they also remember is when you give them a card and you could just fold it with your 2 fingers and then it folds in half. Fine paper doesn't matter today. Thick, solid paper matters. That lets
Mhm.
people know that you are solid, you don't fall down so easy, and you are standing strong. That's just made that up as I went because it sounds pretty good, right? But you have to do all of those things. I'm amazed that I see companies that have been around for 20 and 25 years and they're still trying to figure out how to do sales training and marketing. And your salespeople, the title of sales and marketing,
Mm-mm.
I don't think I've ever really met anybody who does sales and marketing, unless they mean marketing by talking about the company when they're selling. But it isn't putting together any thought. It isn't putting together any brand, right? Or
Yeah.
doing anything like that.
Well, and I think that's where I failed in sales, because I did more of the marketing than the sales part. And that's kind of how I got my sales. So I was kind of an anomaly, but then I realized I would rather show people how to do the marketing rather than continue doing it for myself. But that's that's the other problem is I've seen companies where they'll hire salespeople and then try to give them that slash marketing title. Be like, oh wait, well, you're doing sales, so you're actually going to do our marketing too. But we need you to do both. And it's like, some people can do that, maybe, but someone hired, yeah, a very, very small amount, but someone hired for sales is there to do sales, not marketing. And someone for marketing is there to do marketing, not sales. Like, they need to understand there's a differentiation between the two, and that you really can't combine them unless it's, like you said, a very small percentage of people, and that's a very special person.
Well, otherwise the person ends up spending their time doing what they like to do,
Mm-hmm.
which should
Exactly.
which should really be what their title is at the end,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Oh, yeah.
even if you're a print company, like, do you have people coming in? Do you offer tours? Do you make any videos on how you do things on special projects? Right. If you're an owner, have someone younger in the company take on and just put up some TikToks for you, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever videos. It depends where you are. I don't really think TikTok is so good in our end of the business, but I think if you're in the apparel business, I think if you're in the promo business, I've seen a lot of good TikToks, and actually like 10, 20, 40,000 views even.
Well, one of the things that has been trending on TikTok that I've been keeping an eye on, people love to watch equipment. So if you're a printer, seriously, and some of these videos are as simple as just seeing it go from the beginning of the press all the way to the output, and it's getting millions of views because for some reason people are fascinated, and it kind of has a little bit of that ASMR value to it with the clicks of the machine and the different sounds it makes. So something as simple as that, just videoing your equipment running, posting it on TikTok, that can really boost your brand name. I'm not saying that you might get sales from it, but it's definitely going to boost who you are.
Branding is sales in the long run.
Mhm.
Sales are not short term. Short term sales are generally rush orders where the people don't come back.
Yeah, it's a one and done.
Right? You want to go long. And what's really fascinating, when I got into print, what was fascinating was This went into a machine, offset or digital or whatever, and then this was the image, me, that came out. No, I'm doing that just to promote the book. Buy the book if you didn't. But for the person who's not around, but we're around, a little hard to figure out how white paper comes out with a full color image on it after.
Oh yeah.
Right? Look at YouTube and look at how many people watch. How did they do that, or how did they make that?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So you could have how did we do that section on your website, but don't have a machine running on your website. Especially don't have a 1980s press running with powder spraying everywhere, right? Because it just doesn't look sustainable, and it doesn't look clean, and it doesn't look sexy.
No.
If you're doing some embellishments, you can use some of the embellishments on the front, because the embellishments these days are a little bit sexy.
Oh yeah. Those are
You know,
definitely trending too. I saw someone, they did, I can't remember what company it was, but they did an embellished piece. And then they had a lady where it literally just kind of zoomed in with her nails, and she was just touching every piece of the embellishment and clicking on it. And that thing, it had like over 2 million views of just that finished, embellishment piece. Like, it's something so simple. And, they're doing it anyway. So why not promote it?
I remember when we got our UV press, we did some big posters with the green apple, or the Granny Smith smell, and
Oh,
56-inch posters, big green apple. We went to Scentisphere and we got the scent, which was great. We mixed it in, we printed it. When I would go to meetings and we would give out posters and lay them on the table throughout the whole meeting, people would just be sitting there and like rubbing the poster and doing this. And I'd sit there and go, hey, if you rub it long enough, a genie might come out, right? Or you put something like a scuff-free matte lamination in their hand while you're talking, and it's a sample. It's
oh
like
yeah.
soft velvet silk. So what do? Right? They touch it, and
They're
then
gonna
you're
touch
getting
it.
that
Oh yeah.
whole touch and feel, right? Throw in an embellishment with raised UV or a foil, and then you're getting more of that. So you have so many options out there if you're a print owner to put your company out there. And you have no choice if you want to be successful and people to see you. I don't even know what else to say. I want to scream at people when I see them sometimes, right?
Yeah. They just need to
Please
start.
don't.
Do it.
Yeah. Well, and don't be that person that buys equipment and then tries to figure it out after.
Exactly.
Okay, because you don't have time after. The payments are coming too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if the OEM is trying to push it down your throat with a deal, just stop them and tell them the other guy's offering you the same deal next month, and buy another month so you could think about your marketing plan.
That's a good
Right?
tip.
And you could even ask the OEM for a discount or assistance in marketing the equipment,
Oh
because
yeah,
they all
I've
have a
seen.
little bit of budget.
Oh yeah, and they're all willing to help too with marketing. I've seen a few installs where the OEMs are like, "Hey, we'll help you. We'll even give you a branding kit for this machine for your company." Like, why not take advantage of it?
Listen, I remember way back when I bought that 56-inch UV press, and you could see it on my YouTube channel. I went out, I guess I was just kind of a little before my time always. But I went out, we set up cameras, and we did a whole video install of our KBA 142. And at the time, what I learned from KBA, calling Bauer now, but they'll always be KBA to me. What I learned at the time was most of the people buying KBAs then were all specialty people, packaging guys, and they were purposing the press for certain things, and they were doing certain configurations. I was just a commercial printer guy who bought a big press. Not sure what I was thinking at the time, but I went out, and again, it was about the marketing. So the video was it was like 140,000 nonstop pictures over 6 weeks that was put together in a time lapse video. That we had 80,000 views of the installation. Back then, when YouTube still wasn't much, right? A
Wasn't
little
yeah.
bit ahead of the time. And I went with the video and I showed it to Colleen Bauer, KBA then, and they were blown away on just the whole setup, the way it was done, that I said to them, hey, would you be interested in covering half the cost? I will give you the video and you can use it around the trade shows. Now, what I did was, when I did the video, without telling them, I put up a KBA banner on the wall near the machine under mine,
Mm-hmm.
thinking ahead. And they were like, yes, that would be great. And they said, how much? And I said, well, it cost me 10. So how about 5? Only cost me 5. So I got it for free. But then they went and put it up in the booth at the time, and they had it running on a loop because it was so cool.
Nice.
And then I had some of their customers calling me and ended up picking up some of their extra overrun work because not everybody had a big press. But that video went around, and if nothing else, people were just in awe because they've never seen a press being installed.
Oh yeah,
Right?
and that fascinates people.
You could invite people over. First of all, if you're marketing your company, is your company clean? Because if you're doing some marketing, you want to invite people over. You want to have little events if you can. And it doesn't have to be big events. It could be a 1 hour, it could be a 5 set, it could be a lunch and learn. It can just come and meet the people. Right?
Oh yeah.
And that was the other thing. When I used to walk people around, and I learned this from Larry Kendall, who owned Cameo Craft. He was an older gentleman, but when he took me around his place, it was like 80 or 90 years old. He knew everybody working everywhere. And when he introduced me to everyone, he knew them by name as well as me. After that visit, I made sure anytime I had someone in my company, I was introducing everybody on every piece of equipment by name to the customer.
Oh yeah.
I wanted the customer to know that we are a good company, good culture, and that we all know each other. And it makes the people working on the equipment happy because now they're meeting the customer. You know them by name as the owner, right? We might not think anything of it as owners, but a lot of times people working for you,
That's a big
appreciate
thing.
that.
Oh yeah.
And you just have a win-win. Marketing is not just the paper and the printing, right? Or the mailing that you're doing. It's how you talk. It's how you walk. It's how you interact with everybody in the company and the customers.
Oh yeah, even having like a small open house just to bring people in to see things can have a huge impact. And you don't have to do it every month. You can do it quarterly and just, have people come in, have a press running, have, your staff there, and it has a huge impact for people to see what's going on. And like you said, vice versa, it really empowers those employees that they are being spotlighted to potential clients or current clients.
Wow. Okay. My head is just roaring with stuff, right? Because we see so much, and you know what? I'm disappointed a lot. I'm disappointed in our industry for all the people that aren't doing anything, right? If you're doing something, if everyone does something, we've just found a way to elevate our pricing, right? Nobody should be selling cents per copy of anything.
Yeah, unless
right?
you're
Don't belittle what we do into cents, right? It's project pricing or however, but not just in the price per unit. But wow, okay, my head is filling up with stuff. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna turn this into a regular segment, talking about it.
Yeah.
We're going to have a couple where we're going to talk about some of the great people. We're going to speak to them first because I want to make sure they're good, that we promote them and some of the initiatives that they've taken. I'm going to actually look for some people maybe that we could talk to who didn't do something or didn't do it right, but learned and are willing to share their experience with everybody as to the benefits of.
Even
right?
the learning curve, showing them how that's part of the step of success.
Listen, nothing is easy and you will make mistakes. But the one thing I will tell you is that if you don't try, you're going nowhere.
Exactly.
Right? And what happens with mistakes? You learn. You learn how to do things right. And there's also nothing wrong with talking about your mistakes and the learning that you did when you're talking with customers, especially if you're trying to help your customers do some marketing.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you've done the marketing and you know what you've done, you're now able to sell in the solution. And who knows, you might have other customers that you can put together to assist some of your other customers. But you have to be proactive. That's the bottom line, right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to find different causes, different cases. Anybody listening, if you want to really come on with Amanda and I and talk about your successes or your failures, reach out to me, right? We want to talk to you and we want to help you. If anybody listening is not doing any marketing, give me a call. You're not calling me because you have to hire me. You could do that later. But call me for a conversation. Okay. Have some questions for me. Let's figure out why you are not doing it. Let's figure out some basic things that you need to do to get you going, and then go from there. My job in Printing's Alive right now is I just want to promote print, just like it says. The world can't live without us. And if I could help you succeed, then I'm winning twice. And then our industry's winning. And then we're all working together, rowing in the same direction. Anything you want to add before we jump?
No, just pretty much what he said. Definitely contact him, and if you see this, and don't feel ashamed, don't feel embarrassed because you haven't done it, or maybe you did the, oh, here's one campaign, oops, it didn't work, I quit. Start over again, and it's now or never. Just get it done, and you can start building today. Yeah, and listen to what he has to say.
And be proud that you're going to take an initiative, right? And then the last thing I'm going to say is just think what you would tell your children if they came to you about wanting to do something, and they should do it, and not doing it would be detrimental. So just think like that, because then you're going to call me and we'll have a good conversation. Amanda, love the conversation. I know we try to keep it like above the line and not to go mean or off on a crazy rant. We'll save that for next time. I hope everybody listening got the point and the gist. If you're marketing, kudos. If you're not, try it. That's it for today's session on Printing's Alive. Amanda, thanks so much for the time. Everybody, if you made it the distance, I thank you. We'll see you on the next one.